Hello everyone, got a few dirty jokes for you today. So there's a hitchhiker wandering along, looking for a spot to crash for the night when he stumbles upon this big old farm. He musters up the courage, marches over to the farmhouse, and gives a hearty knock. The owner swings the door open, and our hitchhiker gets straight to the point. "Hey there, kind sir. Mind if I crash in your barn for the night? I've got my trusty sleeping bag. Don't need much else." The farmer scratches his head and gives him a stern warning. "Sure thing, but listen up. Stay away from my wife and daughter, or you'll be staring down the barrel of my shotgun. Got it?" Our hitchhiker nods vigorously. "Crystal clear, sir." But then the farmer adds another request. "Oh, and could you do me a solid? My shoes need a good scrubbing. They're by the barn door. Mind bringing them over?" "Consider it done," our hitchhiker replies, eager to be on good terms with his newfound host. So the hitchhiker went over to the barn. Right as he stands at the door, he sees the very hot wife and early 20s daughter. He walks over to them and says, "Your husband and father send me over to screw you both very hard." Both of them got very upset and said, "You damn liar. He would never, ever say this." "Just wait. We go and ask him." The hitchhiker replied, "Wait, I'll do it." He turns around right outside the door and loudly shouts, "Both of them?" The owner replies, "Of course, both, you idiot." So a man was leaving a convenience store with his morning coffee when he noticed a most unusual funeral procession approaching the nearby cemetery. A black hearse was followed by a second black hearse about 50 feet behind the first one. Behind the second hearse was a solitary man walking a dog on a leash. Behind him, a short distance back, were about 200 men walking single file. The man couldn't stand the curiosity. He respectfully approached the man walking the dog and said, "I am so sorry for your loss, and this may be a bad time to disturb you, but I've never seen a funeral like this." "Whose funeral is it?" "My wife's." "What happened to her?" "She yelled at me and my dog attacked and killed her." He inquired further, "But who is in the second hearse?" The man answered, "My mother-in-law. She was trying to help my wife when the dog turned on her." A very touching moment of brotherhood and silence passed between the two men, and the guy asked, "Can I borrow the dog?" The man replied, "Get in line." So, I'm cruising along, minding my own business, when suddenly I see those flashing lights in my rearview mirror, and I'm thinking, great, there goes my license because of Mr. Serious over here. So, the cop saunters up to my window and goes, "License and registration, please. I suspect you've been hitting the bottle." I reply, "No, officer, not a drop." He gives me that skeptical look and goes, "All right, let's test that theory. Picture this. You're driving down a dark highway at night, and you see two headlights approaching. What do you think it is?" I say, "Easy, a car." He nods, "Sure, but what kind? A Mercedes, an Audi, or a Ford?" I shrug, "I have no idea." And he goes, "As I suspected, you're drunk." I protest, "But I'm telling you, I didn't drink anything." Then he hits me with another one. "All right, one more. You're on that same dark highway, but this time there's just one headlight coming at you. What's your take?" I reply confidently, "A motorcycle." He grins, "Correct, but which brand? Honda, Kawasaki, or Harley?" I admit defeat, I'm clueless. And he's like, "Bingo, you're drunk." Now, I'm starting to get a bit peeved, so I fire back with a counter question. "All right, picture this scenario. You're cruising down that dark highway, and you spot a woman by the roadside. She's rocking a miniskirt, fishnet stockings, killer heels, and just a bra on top. What's your call? He hesitates for a moment, then says, obviously, a lady of the night. I smirk. Yep, but which one? Your daughter, your wife, or your dear old mom? So a salesman was visiting every farm in his territory, peddling a new insect repellent that was several times more effective than anything else on the market, but wasn't having much luck. Desperate to make a sale, he approached a dairy farm at milking time. He let himself into the barn and introduced himself to the farmer. Man, the flies in this barn are just horrendous, aren't they? But I suppose that's to be expected. Yep, the farmer agreed, and they bite like hell too. But nothing you can really do about them. And all them insect sprays don't really do nothing, complained the farmer. Well, what if I told you our new spray is guaranteed to make getting bit from flies in a cow barn a thing of the past? And it's been proven not to affect your cattle, said the salesman. Ha, that's a bunch of bullshit. And I know bullshit. Ain't no way it'll keep the flies around here from biting, said the farmer. I'll make a bet with you, offered the salesman. You can tie me up, naked, in the middle of your cow pasture, right next to a pile of cow manure. Leave me there overnight, spray me with this repellent, and if in the morning I don't have any bite marks on me, you agree to buy a year's supply. What do you say? Bemused, the farmer agrees, takes a wooden chair out to the pasture, waits for the salesman to strip down and spray himself, and ties him securely to the chair. The next morning, the farmer goes to check on the salesman, who is exhausted and about ready to pass out, but is otherwise completely free of any insect bites. Are you okay? Did you have some kind of reaction to your spray or something? The weary salesman manages to speak up. No, I'm fine. But doesn't that damn calf have a mother? So I experienced the worst customer service today at a local store. I don't want to mention the name of the store because I'm not sure how I'm going to handle this. Last night, I bought something from this store and I paid cash for it. I took it home and found out it didn't work. So today, less than 24 hours later, I took it back to the same store and asked if I could get a refund. The cashier told me no, even though I still had the receipt. I asked if I could get a replacement instead. Again, she told me no. I asked to talk to a manager now, as I'm really not happy, and I explained that I had just bought the item, had got it home, and it didn't work. The manager just smiled and told me straight to my face that I was out of luck. No refund. No free replacement. I'll tell you what, I am never buying another lottery ticket from there again. So a blonde was taking helicopter lessons. The instructor said, I'll radio you every 1,000 feet to see how you're doing. At 1,000 feet, the instructor radioed her and said she was doing great. At 2,000 feet, he said she was still doing well. Right before she got to 3,000 feet, the propeller stopped and she twirled to the ground. The instructor ran to where she crash-landed and pulled her out of the helicopter. What went wrong? The blonde said, at 2,500 feet, I started to get cold, so I turned the big fan off. So little Johnny's preschool class went on a field trip to the fire station. The firefighter giving the presentation held up a smoke detector and asked the class, does anyone know what this is? Little Johnny's hand shot up, and the firefighter called on him. Little Johnny replied, that's how Mummy knows supper is ready. So Tiger Woods and Stevie Wonder, two legends, bump into each other at a charity event in New York. They strike up a conversation, and Stevie shares something unexpected with Tiger. Stevie says, "Tiger, I've been a huge admirer of yours. In fact, because of you, I took up playing golf." Tiger, surprised, replies, "You play golf? But how does a blind man like you manage that?" Stevie, with a grin, explains, "It's quite simple, really. My caddy puts my ball on the tee and lines me up. He then runs down the middle of the fairway, calling out very loudly. I then hit the ball in the direction of his calls. The same process takes place with each shot, and when I get on the green, he lies with his mouth against the hole, and I just put the ball in the direction of his voice." Tiger, now intrigued, says, "That sounds incredible. I'd love to witness it firsthand. How about we play around together while I'm in town?" Stevie replies, "Sure, Tiger, but I play for money. My rate? $10,000 a hole." Tiger, thinking how hard could it be to beat, a blind man says, "I accept. When should we tee off?" Stevie, with a sly grin, replies, "How about midnight on Tuesday?" So a car was involved in an accident in a street. As expected, a large crowd gathered. A newspaper reporter, anxious to get his story, could not get near the car. Being a clever sort, he started shouting loudly, "Let me through! Let me through! I am the son of the victim." The crowd made way for him. Lying in front of the car was a donkey.